A strong body, I don't completely think you need a strong body. I think you can build a strong body.
Hello, and we are back with an episode of the Athletic Mind Unleashed. And today I have a special guest from the other side of the world, and this is Urmi. And she has quite diverse background. She has done boxing and different kind of sports, and she's also doing a lot of things for women. But what I want to know about right now is what is your background in sport? How did you get into this and what do you like about sport? So tell me a little bit about yourself, maybe.
Yes, it'll be my pleasure, and thank you for having me. Um, I'm gonna start off by saying that I was never into sports. I actually
Oh.
used to dislike very much my gym class. Whenever we would have the gym class, it was such a like stress for me because I was like, I don't want to do this. They would take us to the gym class and they would make us do like squats, jumping jacks, run around, and every single time they would make us play volleyball, and I hated it. I hated doing it, all of these things. But then as I became older, I understood the importance of doing sports and staying active and, working out. And so it started little by little by going to the gym. And at the gym, I would do the usual things, I would run, do the machines and so forth. But then I realized that it wasn't really something that I very much enjoyed as much because you're basically working out on yourself. So then I joined classes. So I did a bunch of things. I did Pilates, I did yoga, I did power yoga. Then I started to do like HIIT workouts. And then when I did HIIT workouts, I understood a little bit my niche that it was like, okay, this is what I like. It's more like high intensity workout. And then a couple of years ago, I actually fell in love with boxing and Muay Thai. And so now, like when I try to do HIIT workouts, they don't give me the same level of energy or
Mm.
boost that I get from boxing or Muay Thai. So for me, like there is boxing on like on top of everything, along with Muay Thai, and then there is the rest of the stuff.
Mm. So it sounds like you like the high adrenaline kind of workouts.
Yes.
That's quite interesting. So why do you like this so much?
I think it's so I my issue with low intensity is probably because I feel like I'm not getting enough of a boost when I'm working out. Like I'm not getting that push because I usually like fall asleep when I do low intensity workout, and I think I need something that creates adrenaline. And I feel like
Mm.
when I do boxing, I get that type of boost. Like I just feel like it makes me energized. It helps me to like release the stress, release my anger, release the tension. And I feel like when I'm boxing, I there is like an inside warrior in me that comes out. So that's what I enjoy about
Oh,
boxing. Yeah.
wow. So you are kind of connected to your warrior energy. Does it actually unlock that kind of power in you that you can also like use in other areas of life?
Yes. I feel like it does because the moment I put those boxing gloves, I feel like I'm transforming myself. That's how I
Mm.
feel about it. Like the superheroes when they put their like their costume,
Question.
they transform.
Mm.
That's how I feel as well.
Wow. Amazing. And how does the boxing workout actually look like? I have never attended any of these. So how does it go to do like warm up and then you like do something on your own, then you do something with other people, stretching, or what are like the different parts of a typical workout?
Yeah, usually how it works, it's an hour session more or less. You start with the 10 minutes of warm up, but it's not any kind of warm up. You're doing like jumping, like you're using the jumping rope and you're jumping for like a good 10 minutes. Or you do like high intensity warm up, like you're doing push ups, you're running, you're doing squats, jumping jacks. So it's very high intense. And then afterwards, you start doing like sparring or you start learning a little bit of technique. So they teach you like how to punch, how to use, how to do the hook, how to do the cross. And afterwards, they put you in pairs. So you are like practicing with someone. So it's like a real life situation of what it will look like if you're like fighting with
Mm.
someone. And then you have those boxing I don't know how they are called, like boxing not pillow, but those boxing bag, and you're punching
Mhm.
those ones. So they tell you like what you're supposed to be doing. So you do that like high intensity, nonstop, 30 seconds, like punching, and then 10 seconds stop, and you like switch with your partner. And then afterwards, you have a cool down session. But even the cool down session is not so much of a cool down. You're like doing like planks, you're doing again squats. So you're
Mm.
trying to build like resistance and like muscles, also doing like like after the whole training. So that's how usually it's
Mm.
split.
It sounds like you need to have quite a strong body for this, but do you also need to have like a strong mind to do all of these things?
So do you need a strong body? I don't completely think you
No.
need a strong body. I think you can build a strong body.
Mm.
And I do think it helps you to build a strong mind. That's for
Mm-hmm.
sure. I think a lot of the times, I think a lot of people do this type of workouts because they want to build the confidence and they want to build strength, mental and physical. So even if you have none of it, like it still works out because they help you to build all of that. So yeah, you will definitely help you to build a strong like mentality, mental health. I would say not mental health. It will help you to build a strong mindset. There you go.
Mm. So, what kind of, I don't know, parts of your mind or parts of your personality have improved thanks to boxing? Like you said, confidence. Anything else that you would like to highlight?
Yes, definitely confidence, because I feel like it has also helped me in other parts of my life as well. Um, Definitely resilience. That was something very, very important, and tenacity as well. I think that's something that this is something that boxing helps you to work on because, like, when you're boxing with someone, like they're punching you and you fall back, but the key is that you stand up and like punch back. And so I think that's something
Mm.
that you can transfer in your real life as well. Some often we have challenges, we have hurdles, and we feel like we're not able to overcome them. But I think boxing teaches you to like, it's time for you to stand up and fight back. So that's something that it has helped me a lot.
Mm, yeah, that really sounds like real life because in life, when you fail, the main thing is to get back up and get back into the doing because you don't want to quit. You want to live your beautiful life. You want to
Mhm.
fulfill your goals. You want to experience all these things. So for you, your responsibility is to get back up and start doing the things again. So, and you said that this also helps like the real life situations. Do you have like any good examples how this has helped you in doing anything else in your life, like
Honestly,
a job or whatever?
it was pretty much in everything that I have been doing so far, like taking exams, for instance. Often, there is a challenge that you're like, oh, it's hard. Maybe you fail an exam and you feel like you want to just give up. That has been one aspect. Or also, like, for me, it was more when I was like looking for a job a couple of years ago. And at some point, I just wanted to like just give up. I was like, no one wants to hire me. It's too hard to look
Mhm.
for a job. It's like looking for a job is another full-time job. But then I remembered, it's like it's about resilience. It's about motivation. It's about not giving up at the first challenge. And so those has been a little bit of that's how boxing has helped me also in those aspects of my life.
Mm. For me, it sounds like a little bit scary, like being punched or like, I don't know. Do
Oh
you get like punched into your face or how does it actually look like?
no, no, it's a
No?
very okay. First of all, you're not like in a boxing ring with someone. I mean, you could technically if you want to, but because usually it's a very safe environment, and you have people from different levels. Like you have beginners, you have those that are a bit more advanced. Of course, if you end up someone like being in a partner with someone who's a bit more experienced, yes, you're a little bit scared. They're not gonna punch you on your face. You will get punched and you might have bruises, but it's not like something major where like, okay, you broke your leg and you have to go to the hospital. I mean, there were times where I would have bruises on my body and I would not realize it. I would not realize it. So they come afterwards, but it's not something like so serious that they like impact your physical conditions, you know. But and you don't definitely don't get punched on your face, and they teach you how to protect your face when you like in case someone punches you. But it's learning more about the techniques on how you can protect yourself, how you can defend yourself in a real life situation, basically.
Hmm. So is it the class is only for women, or is it like a mix with men and women? How is it?
No, it's a mixed class. It's women and men, and this is a little bit the sad part because I went to boxing for self-defense and to work on my skills and so forth, and I wish I've seen more women in these classes, but we're like I think 40 people probably or more or less, and there are like six women. And so I think there's
Hmm.
not enough message spread, because often we think about boxing as something for men, but it's really not. It's not just for men, it's for both women and men. I think there's not enough promotion, or there's not enough, it's not enough talked about women among women.
Hmm. And I think for you, this women empowerment and like teaching women how to be like powerful and strong, this is also very, I don't know, very important topic. Am I right?
Yes, I'm a big advocate about women's empowerment. I started to I would say that it's a cause that I very much support, and I'm a big advocate of it. And it's something that started a couple of years ago. It was more towards when I finally understood a little bit about myself and who I am as a person. And so I was like, I want to do something in that field. I want to give back to the community. So I joined organizations that work towards women's empowerment because I think it's important to have a more equal society, with less discrimination, to see more parity in the world. So that's when I started to volunteer for things related to women's empowerment. And one of the organization I volunteer for is called Women in Leadership, and it's based in Victoria, which is another province. And I am the social media lead, so I promote everything that the organization does to basically promote more women in leadership roles. So we have webinars about how to use LinkedIn. We have webinars on like public speaking. We have webinars about how to use artificial intelligence to look for a job. So anything that can help women to be empowered.
Hmm. And have you even like used your experience with boxing in any of these things that you're doing for women?
Um, I I have not, but I do talk about boxing a lot in many things that I do, because I do want to spread that message. Like I want more women to do boxing. Unfortunately, I feel like as women, we do need that kind of learning because we need to be able to defend ourselves. But I try to like spread the message by use like writing articles. I use it through my social media platforms. So I do talk about it as much as I can.
Hmm. Another interesting part of any kind of training for me is the nutrition.
Yeah.
So, do you like prepare in any way when you like go into a boxing training, or do you like eat in a very specific way before, after, or is there any differences compared to other sports?
Let me tell you this. When it comes to nutrition, okay, I try to be very like I'm very health conscious.
Hmm.
Um, and I try to eat in moderation. Like I don't want to deprive myself of the things that I enjoy. Um, like I don't want to cut on, sweet things. I don't want to cut on like carbs, but I try to be eat them in moderation. I think that's more important to like don't overeat too much of something. And I try to also eat a lot more like nuts, fruits and vegetables, drink a lot of water. The one thing that you might want to know about me is that I am Italian, like I'm Italian Bengali, and I do eat a lot of pasta. And for me, pasta is like essential. Like it's for my own mental health. That's how I like to say it. But I eat it in moderation. So I don't do any specific I don't do any meal prep in specific. I just try to eat regularly, like I do. Have your 3 meals: breakfast, lunch, dinner. Try to eat everything in moderation. Try to drink a lot of water. Try to eat a lot of nuts. Fish, those type of things. Try to get. I also do like other basic things like walking, getting the sunlight, getting enough sleep. You know, feeding my mind with knowledge. So these are some of the things that I do, but there's nothing in specific that I do in relation to eating, basically.
It sounds like you have the basics in place. Also mentioned walking,
Yes,
sleeping, drinking water.
yes,
So it sounds like you have this holistic view of your body. It's not like you're just doing one thing, but you're trying to find like balance in different areas as well.
yes, exactly, exactly. Those things are very, very important for me. I like, for instance, with the walking, I try to do 10,000, but it's a bit challenging sometimes because in Montreal, like if it's very cold, it's hard to go for a walk outside. But
Mm.
I try to do at least 30 minutes of like body movements. Even with the working out, I try to do 3 times at least of workouts. I try to drink as much water as I can. I try to get enough sleep as well, and that's very important as well because, like, before I realized that when I was a student, like I would not get enough sleep and it's not good. And now, like, when my bedtime hits, I'm like, that's it. I close everything. I just go to bed, for instance, and I try to get those
Mm.
7 to 8 hours of sleep because it's important, I think, also for your overall health. Yeah.
Yeah, and one thing that you mentioned actually, regular eating times. I think this is very crucial for your health because if you eat at the same time, like every day, your body already knows when to expect the food and it can be like ready. It's like the food delivery is coming into your body and the body is like open and ready to receive. And I think this also gives like a lot of balance to you. So whenever your meal times are like out of sync, they're not regular, do you also see like any difference?
Um, yeah, so here's the thing, because I basically work in the office and I feel like I'm able to be on a schedule when I work in the office because you have to start a certain hour, you take lunch at a certain hour, and then you will come back and you're having your dinner. I feel like there is a little bit of this, like, there's a little bit of not like there is not an equilibrium whenever I like during the weekends. Unfortunately, during the weekends, I think it's hard to stick to a schedule because there are so many things that you're doing, and so that's when I start to see that my body like is asking for like food. And one thing that I have learned through time is that you always want to make sure that you're listening to what your body is asking you, and that
Hmm.
has been.
So you're listening to body as well, especially on the weekends.
Yes, I try to do that as much as I can because I can go on the weekends without eating sometimes, and probably because I'm
Mhm.
just way too busy and I know this is not healthy. So I try to listen to my body, or even like even before I start getting hungry, I try to like eat something or I try to snack during the day with like fruits or nuts. And so I try to have that type of balance as well. And I try to stick to a schedule, but during the weekend it's always a little bit more challenging compared to the weekdays. Yeah.
Hmm. You also mentioned that you are like a mix of Italian and Bengalese. So you there's like a lot of pasta. So I think everybody knows the Italian food, but what about this Bengalese? How do I even say that? How about this food? How
Uh,
does this look like?
so Bengali food is a lot
Uh,
more
yeah.
about rice. We do eat a lot of rice and we do eat a lot of curry. So there is like fish curry, chicken curry, beef curry. So it's all about curries, and we do use a lot of spices. So it's very rich in flavor. It can be spicy at times, and it's very colorful. Like the food that we eat is very colorful and flavorful, and we do eat a lot of rice. So that's one thing that you want to know. So whether you're Italian, Bengali, there is carbs everywhere, basically. And so again, you have to eat in moderation because the amount of rice that we eat, it can be a lot. But that's how our the Bengali cuisine is based. Yeah.
Mm, mm. And there's also, I think, having like a lot of flavor. This is also like good because this also means like different kind of vegetables in the food,
Yeah.
not only the rice. not only like the pasta.
Yes, yes, exactly. We do eat also a lot of vegetables, and there are different kinds of vegetables that we eat, um, which like some of them also get imported. So I don't see them in the Canadian market. Like I see them more being imported. So we do eat a lot of vegetables. Yes.
Hmm. So I'm in Estonia, and I have some Indian friends. Some of them live here, and some are like visiting for maybe a few months at a time. And at least the Indians in Estonia, they are complaining that Estonian food is like so bland, and it's so hard to get these ingredients that they are like used to. Would you say the same about Canada? That getting the specific Bengali spices, or like I don't know, even Italian stuff is difficult, or how is it for you?
No, no, it's very easy. It's very easy because there is like Canada is so multicultural. There are so many ethnicities here. You just have a market for pretty much everything. So we do have a lot of Italian stores. We do have a lot of Indian Bengali stores. We do have a lot of Asian. So like you almost feel like it's almost like you're not missing anything because there's so much available in the market. So even restaurants, like no, it's we have everything available, so you can recreate the meals from back home. Yeah,
Okay. So you have very, very diverse background. Does it also mean that you're like very often traveling?
I do. I do travel. I do enjoy traveling. And I do enjoy like learning from other culture, from meeting other people from different countries. I do very much enjoy traveling, yes.
So where do you usually travel? You're going from Canada to the United States or Europe, or what kind of destinations?
It's very diverse, and I try to keep it diverse for that reason. I like to explore and visit new places each time. Of course, the States is much closer, so I get to go a bit more often. I do like the big city, so my favorite city is New York, and there's so much going on there. I also went to more tropical destination or more hot destinations, so Mexico or Dominican Republic. And Europe, of course, is also my favorite spot. One area that I would like to explore a bit more is probably like Asia, countries like, Korea, Japan, Thailand. These are some places I would like to visit, and also like Morocco, for instance. That's another interesting area. Yes.
So what happens to your routine whenever you are like traveling? So, like the eating, training, do you keep up with your routine? Do you try to find some boxing classes or something, or do you just don't do anything?
So um, it depends where I'm going. And unfortunately, like, I think it's hard to be on a routine whenever you're traveling. But I think one thing that I'm pretty sure everyone does is they walk a lot. So maybe you're not getting a workout done, but because you're always in motion, you're always moving around, you're always walking. So I think that's one thing that I try to keep with me whenever I'm traveling. I try to walk as much as possible. But for instance, when I stay in resorts, I actually bring my running shoes and my gym clothes because I'm actually running in the gym, and that's one thing that I try to do, especially when I'm in a resort, because if you're in a resort, you don't go elsewhere. So I try to get a workout done. I always look for classes as well to join, even if it's just for like a couple of days. But it's something that I always look for as well.
Hmm. So, how do you actually plan for this? Do you search for the classes like before you go, or you go to a destination and then you figure out, okay, what is going on? What can I do here?
Yeah, it depends. Like if I'm staying in a resort, I know it beforehand what they offer. But if I'm not going to a resort, chances are usually I'm not like looking for classes because like maybe I'm too busy like focusing on like exploring the city. So for instance, this time when I went to Rome, I didn't look for classes. I just walked the whole time. So I would get like 20,000 steps done per day. So that was
Hmm.
more than enough.
Yeah.
There was no need for me to do a workout.
So that was like double than your usual steps
Ex-
for an
Exactly. Yeah.
average day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And what happens to your food choices when you're like, traveling? You still stick to like regular meal times or like what's
No,
happening?
yeah,
No.
that's the thing. That's when I'm vacation, I'm not keeping up on with my food. I eat a lot. Like I eat a lot when
Mhm.
I'm traveling. I try to try different things. But I also know that I'm walking, so I know that all of this is being burnt. But again, I try to be like conscious about what I'm eating. I'm trying not to eat too
Mm.
much of like fat food. I'm trying not to eat too much junk food because like I do eat sometimes junk food, but I'm not a big fan of it, for instance.
Mm.
So I try to, maybe one time, yeah, I can eat it, but I don't want to do it every time. So when I see that I'm eating too much, I don't know, junk food, then the next time I'm eating something healthier. So it really
Mm.
depends. It depends also on the destination.
Mm. So actually, you're consciously thinking about your food choices as well whenever you're like traveling,
Yeah.
because for you sounds to be like something important.
Yeah. Like I don't want to like eat too much of junk food, for instance, because I think one of the drawback of traveling sometimes is that you eat whatever it's available and you end up eating whatever is like cheap or whatever it's like easy to eat.
Mm.
But I try to be a bit more self-conscious sometimes. And so if there is an option where I can eat healthier or less junky, then I go ahead with that one. Yeah.
Hmm. So when you think about maybe about your recent travels, uh, did you have like any, like, I don't know, very healthy food experiences? What would you recommend as a healthy food destination, for example?
So
No.
my recent so I'm gonna talk about the last travel that I did, which was in Europe, and I went to Italy. Okay, I'm gonna tell you from like I'm gonna tell you what I did. I ate a lot of pasta. I ate a lot of pizza, which I don't know
Mhm.
if it's very healthy, but I did because that was those are the things that were available. And so sometimes you don't have much of a choice. Like if you, especially when you're eating, do you go and eat salad only? No, like you want to try the food, the local food.
Hmm.
So those are some of the things. Unfortunately, I think it's a bit hard when you're traveling to go with something that is like less with something that's a bit more healthy. So it depends. It depends on the destination usually.
Hmm. I know that many people associate Italy with, the best food in the world and
Yeah.
so on. So you agree as an Italian as well.
Yeah, and you don't want to miss on that, like you don't want to miss on the good things that they make. So they're known for the pasta, they're known for pizza. So I think it's like it's important to try those things, and you should not deprive yourself just because you want to be healthier. If you know
Mm.
what I mean. I also went to the States, and even there, sometimes you end up eating a lot of like burgers or pizza. But I also look for other options, like eating something that it's from a different cuisine. Last time we had like Afghani food, so it's like you want to also diverse a little bit on the things that you eat, and you just don't want to eat the same thing also.
Hmm. But coming back to Italy, where in Italy would you go for like the tastiest pasta, for example?
You can go in any parts of Italy.
In France.
Any parts, yeah. You will not be disappointed.
Mm. And pizza, is it Naples?
Yeah, pizza
The
is
original
Naples.
pizza?
Pizza
Mm.
is Naples, that's for sure. But honestly, I think like any parts of Italy that you go, you will encounter different type of like dishes. So, for instance, like if you go to Rome, some of the things that you should try is like pasta alla carbonara, for instance, or cacio e pepe.
Mm.
These are like each region is known for a specific dish. So definitely, like any places you will go, you will not be disappointed. But each region has its dish, so I think you should try those things. So in Naples, you have like pizza, you have like sfogliatelle, you have all these things, and I think some places make them better than other places. Yeah.
And as you are like also traveling, like, across the continents and across the ocean, how do you deal with the jet lag and your sleeping routines?
It's such a struggle. It's always such a struggle. Um, it's a struggle. I wish there was like like a one way to solve this, but I don't think there is one. One of my friends told me recently that, if you wanna get over with the jet lag, just don't sleep on the plane and only sleep when you reach the place. But it's hard. It's hard because I think if you're leaving, let's say, really, like for instance, when you're traveling to Europe, typically the flights leave at night from here, and so you do end up sleeping overnight. And so and then when you reach the destination, it's a little bit like messed up. I usually cannot make it work. Like if I go to Europe or something, I'm never able to fix my jet lag. So I just sleep whenever I'm sleepy, or I just stay awake and then fall, like stay awake, feel tired, and then I go to sleep.
So for you, it's a struggle.
It's a struggle. Yes,
Yeah.
it's a struggle.
Last year, I also traveled to South America and once to Texas and like US. And I also had like 6, 7 hour, 8 hour time difference. And I was using an app called Time Shifter. You basically
Okay.
like insert your flight number, and then it kind of calculates like a plan for you. It also asks you, when do you usually sleep, are you like a morning person or evening person. It asks a lot of things about your sleeping rhythms, and when you follow this plan it will tell you, okay, it starts like 2 days before the flight and it ends like 2 days after the travel, so it's also like gradual like going into the plan as well. And it kept
Hmm.
telling me when to drink coffee, when to avoid coffee, when to sleep, like the days before. So sometimes it was something like, okay, go to bed at 7 p.m. and wake up at 1 a.m. in the middle of the night. I'm like, what? But I was following it.
Hmm.
I was
Hmm.
avoiding coffee or drinking coffee, whatever it told me. I was avoiding light or even like having very bright light in the middle of the night, like 1 a.m. when I had to wake up, because that's what the app was telling me, and it actually worked. So I did it 3 times and I didn't
Okay.
have any jet lag. I'm like, okay, it sounds like a little bit weird, but it works because you kind of like get into this rhythm of the new place of your destination. I was like, wow,
Hmm.
it seems very silly. And for example, when I was traveling the last time, I had to like get on the plane like 12 p.m., like in the middle of the day, and immediately fall asleep for 5 hours. I'm like, how? But I was just like trying and forcing myself, and in the end, it all worked out. And if the reward is no jet lag, I'm kind of willing to do this. I'm like, okay, it really works.
Yeah.
But there are like some tricks,
Yeah.
tips, if you know how to
Yeah.
balance your circadian rhythm and the sleeping routine, and how to get back into the normal routine again.
Hmm. Yeah. Usually for me, I'm jet lagged for the first 2 days, and then it goes back to normal. And I think it's probably because I just let myself get really tired,
Mm,
and I try not to sleep during my regular sleeping hours, and I only sleep based on like on whatever I am. So whenever I go to Europe for the first 2 days, I'm like staying out like awake, and then I go to sleep when everyone is going to
mhm,
sleep, and then when I come back to Canada, it goes back to that like it's again it's messed up. And I know I used to wake up like really early in the morning at the beginning,
mhm.
like 4 a.m. I would just wake up out of nowhere. But I just have to make myself tired, and then I'm able to go back to the normal schedule.
Mm, yeah, and I think sleep is very crucial when it comes to like, also these performance goals and sports goals,
Hmm.
your overall energy.
Hmm.
In a normal
Exactly.
in a normal day-to-day life, do you have like any good sleep tips that you use or like some tricks that you can share?
So for me, well, one of the tips that they say usually is like don't use your phone before you go
Mhm.
to bed, or at least like avoid lights like for a certain like an hour before you go to bed. Try to be like avoid lights. Another tip that I use is just to have everything dark in the room and no lights at all.
Yeah.
Um, I also know there are these things that you can use that will help you to sleep. It's like sort of like a light, like a little light that has like I don't know how it's called, but basically like you can choose the flavor of this.
Mm.
I don't know the
So it's,
name.
you can choose like blue light, orange light, warm, cool. That
Yeah,
kind of, yeah.
exactly. And then there's like this sort of like I don't even know what it's called. Like I have it. Oh my gosh, I don't know how it's called, but it's sort of like something that smells in your room and it helps you to sleep. But
Mm.
I don't know how it's called. There is also that you can use,
Some kind of
and
air humidifier,
there we go.
vaporizer.
There
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something like that. Exactly. You can also use those things. And also, like, especially in my room, like, I try not to have like any sunlight coming through in the morning because I
Hmm.
think that will also, interrupt your sleeping pattern. So it's important to be like in a dark room, no distractions before going to sleep, no extra sunlight. When you wake up in the morning, I think those are some of the things that will help you to sleep well. And also now I try to like turn put on the do not disturb notification so
Mm.
that I don't get notifications before going to sleep, and I only see them the day after, for instance. Yeah.
Hmm. So it sounds like you do like a little bit of planning around the sleep.
I try to. This one is a little bit hard, but I try to. Usually, like when I'm tired and I go to sleep, I fall asleep right away. So it's like
Mhm.
for me, it doesn't get that hard. So as soon as I see that I'm tired, I just go to bed. I don't even force myself to stay awake. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, so it's also about listening to your body.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once again,
Yeah.
we get back to listening to
Yeah.
your body. And I think
Yeah.
this is very important thing to do. Just listen to your body, listen to the needs. Also apologize to your body if you do something bad to it. And I
Yeah.
sometimes also promise good things to my body, like, okay, I promise to give you like the most nutritious food that actually feeds, not just, it gives you like pleasure, but also like gives the nutrients like vitamins and
Yeah.
minerals and all the things you need. So sometimes I had that kind of talks with my body as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. No, no, exactly. And I think that's very, very important because even like when you eat a lot of junk food, then you start feeling sick. Like you're not feeling good with yourselves. Like how long can you go and eat the same thing, like burgers or stuff like that, for like a week? Like your body starts craving for other things as well. So I think it's also important to, like, I think it's important to be healthy, but I also don't think there is anything wrong if you're eating something, that it's not healthy once a week, for instance. I think they also say you're supposed to be eating something, you know, not healthy, just to like, shake it up a little bit.
Hmm. Hmm. So it's about the balance.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we are starting to wrap up right now, but if somebody wants to learn more about you and the boxing, where can people actually find you? And of course, I put links
Yes.
in the description as well.
Yes, I have a YouTube channel. It's called Urmi Hossain.
Mhm.
I have my blog called myways.ca. I also have a LinkedIn profile called Urmi Hossain. And if people want to connect with me on Instagram, I have an Instagram account and it's called Urmania. So anyone can reach out to me in
Mhm.
any of these platforms.
So what is your YouTube channel about?
So my YouTube channel is about many things. I do solo content and I also do content with people that come to my channel as a guest.
Mhm.
But they are all based on like public speaking, self development, language learning, studying for the for like a finance designation. It's called the CFA, and so I talk about those things, and I also talk about career. So a lot of the things are like me sharing my own experience, but I also have like coaches that come and I interview them where they talk about the services they offer, if there are tips that they can offer, especially for people who want to learn a language, for people who are looking for a job, for people who want to work on their public speaking. So I talk about different things. Yes.
Hmm. And what about your blog? Is it similar to your YouTube channel?
More or less, yes. My blog is a little bit more personal. I do talk about more about my own experiences. So I talk about boxing, for instance. I talk about how to get a promotion. I talk about how to learn a language when you're traveling. I also talk about my traveling experience and provide tips in relation to that. So it's a little more personal, but it's some things are in line and some other things are just about things that I do.
Hmm. Okay. Sounds very cool. So, thank you for sharing your boxing experience. Thank you for sharing your travel stories. And thank you for sharing your time. And I hope you
Thank you.
enjoyed it too.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah, thank you.